You can see some wires at the front here. Welcome everybody. You can see some wires at the front here happening for sound and presume it's like this. If you're coming up to this point, this way. So you don't get funny wires. And you don't fall, and I don't feel bad. All right? I'm thrilled that this is working. You know, it gets to.
Shall we start with the announcements then? Since we have quite a few to get through.
Louder on if you can. Arnie, are you doing this part?
I will speak to some of them.
Okay.
And then there's some people who want to speak to their own announcements, so they can come forward. But I think the first one is mine, if we can move to that slide.
Back, everybody. Okay, take it away, Arnie.
All right, Heather, are you able to move to the first announcement?
Ability. I just got your volume up in the hall. We're good to go.
Oh, awesome. More volume is always good with me. Okay, so the first announcement is meaning making in Liminal's Times program. So our congregation have signed up to this program, which is across Canada for small congregations. And it's going to be the first Sunday of every month. We'll have a service that has a homily from one of 6 Canadian UU ministers, a different one each month. I will be one of them in March, and that will run October till April, except December. And the services are all in the theme of meaning making in liminal times. There's also with this program an option for individual congregants, if they want to dive deeper into the topics, you can sign up for a spiritual exploration program, and people do that individually. and those will be on Saturday afternoons, typically the third Saturday of the month. Although October is a little bit different because Saturdays are weird in October, but it's going to be on the 28th of October, but the rest are the third Saturday. So if anybody is interested in signing up for the deeper dive, they can contact me and I can get you signed up for that. There is typically a fee for that, but the board voted yesterday to cover the cost for any of our congregants who want to participate. So you just need to let me know and I can get you connected with that if you want to go. But it is something that we've talked about, wanting to have the opportunity to talk more about things that come up in services. So this is one way we can do that for anybody that's interested. And next slide.
So I'll read the ones that aren't pertinent to Erin. This is Arn, sorry. This is the Social Justice Book Club. It started out Truth and Reconciliation, and now we're moving into themes of climate. And if you're interested, there's contact information there. Anybody who is in that and can raise their hand and people can know to look for you, you know, later if they have questions and stuff. Okay. There's a women's group that's on Tuesdays that would welcome some new members. So if you're interested, contact me. You can see me today, but you better put it in writing for me because I need a written brief. Jane. There are two retreats on the island. One is the women's retreat and one is the AUU men's gathering. And
No, yeah.
oh, that's not on yet? Okay. What do I know? Awesome. Anyway, so if you're interested in going, Jane, you're going to the women's one?
I
think it's full. Okay.
it's full.
How about the men's retreat? Is it full?
No.
No? Okay.
Lots of room.
So you could ask Greg about particulars.
Okay, that's me again. So we're looking to run a program called Are You New to UU in the fall, and so anybody who's interested, the program covers stuff about Unitarian Universalist worship, theology, history, social justice, and governance. So if anybody is interested in that, whether you've been here for a long time or a little time, but would like to learn more about it, contact me and we can do that group. I haven't set a time yet. I was waiting to see what would work for people who are interested. So just contact me if you're interested.
I'm gonna go up and speak to Brandon.
Ilakasla, Equicons dutiful. Welcome, and it's good to see each other. I'm Christy Farraher Amadon with our Fellowship's Justice Action Team that is pleased to announce a presentation by Mr. Randy Fred coming up on a Saturday afternoon, October the 28th, here in this hall from 2 to 4 p.m. to be followed by a community potluck. Mr. Fred is a neutral youth elder and a 9-year survivor of the Port Alberni Residential School, who now resides in Nanaimo. Steve and I had the privilege of hearing him speak at the North Island Writers Conference this past January, and we were informed, enlightened, and really moved by his presentation. So Mr. Fred has agreed to be with us on October 28th in the afternoon. Mark your calendars, and please consider volunteering to either help with setup or with cleanup by speaking to one of the Justice Action Team members, myself, Steve Farraher Amadon, Norm Reynolds, Sally Laval, Heather Gartland, Barbara Boone, or Wanda Harassman.
The next one is Our Whole Lives. It's a sexuality and healthy relationships program. They have them for all different ages, but we are hoping to run an elementary school aged one in the spring. in partnership with Comox United. And we're looking for volunteers to lead this program. In order to lead the program, you need to take training, which there is some in the fall if you haven't already taken it. But if you're interested in co-leading the program, Liz is definitely one of the people who are going to be leading it. But if you're interested, let me know and we can get you on the roster.
Any more announcements that people would like to speak to?
Yeah, due to, good morning. Due to, circumstances beyond our control, the last announcement didn't make it to the slides, but it's to say that on Friday, this week, on the 15th of September, there will be some kind of, we're not sure exactly, statement of protest about fossil fuels needing to be reduced. Please watch for it, and I will also send out information as soon as I find out more details.
Is that local here in the valley?
Well, I hope there's gonna be one in the valley. If not, for sure there's one in Baltic Beach and Colorado.
Anything today, but it's all in Canada.
Having given up on something local, I've made plans for Vancouver, join the Vancouver Unitarian. So Aiden and I are going down on Friday on the 15th. And I've got 2 spots in my car left if people want to come with us. So we're going down to Nanaimo and we're taking a little passenger ferry across to downtown Vancouver. And then it'll be SkyTrain up to Cambie and 12th, which is where everyone's meeting. So, if anyone wants to join us, we're heading out. Early, it's awkward timing because we have to leave at least by 8 here from my place. And we won't be getting back till 9:30. And there's, the numbers of ferries that go across are not frequent at this point. They keep putting it shaded out, possible next one. So it's not there yet. Okay, the invitation is going to be, I've got Peace Like a River, but we're going to do it a little differently in that you are all welcome to come join us in singing this song. We are going to miss out one verse though. We're going to miss out the verse about aim like an arrow. We decided it wasn't suitable for today.
Number 100, which was up there. Number 100. 100.
Look through there. You weren't handed out.
Really repetitious.
But it's very.
You'll catch it. You'll be able to catch it really easily. Okay.
I got peace, I got peace,
So I'm Barbara Hume, and I have the honor of being the president of the board this year. And I am here, it's so good to see everybody, yeah. It's wonderful. So whether you're new or whether you're returning, good to see everyone. We welcome people of all kinds. You know, everyone is welcome, no matter who you love, no matter what gender you identify as, what race you are, what economic status you are. Let's see, who did I forget? So everyone's welcome here. We feel like people are worthy now. So. And we are on amazing land, and we are very grateful to be here. This land has been cared for by the Comox First Nation people. That includes the Statlu, Tatipla, Liksun, and Huntledge peoples. And we are very grateful to be here and to be able to share that with them. We're going to start something that used to be a thing here. Stand up and greet your neighbor. In fact, greet somebody you don't know as well, you know. So take a few minutes, just say hello and get back to your seat. All right. Get back to your seat. Good to feel all that energy in the room. Just wanted to make an announcement that today we're not requiring masks. We do ask that you consider wearing a mask, and we will have masks at the front table when you come in, because we've all gotten out of the habit of it, but apparently the COVID virus has not gone away. So
The kids have gone back to school. This means your grandkids, your kids, they will bring it to you.
Any large gatherings, actually.
Yeah.
All right, I'm delighted to be with you this afternoon, unfortunately online rather than in person, but I'm so happy to be here to lead the water communion as our first service of this new year. We're going to begin as always with the chalice lighting, and if Wendy can light it in the room, and I will light one here. We light this chalice as a symbol of our reunion. We reunite in this sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together we honor the spirit of water in its many forms and its life-giving essence. And for opening words today, we have a video, Sing the Water Song. This is the Algonquin Women's Water Song, and it expresses loving gratitude for the water and raises the consciousness and connections of women with Mother Nature's gift. It was created in 2002 for the Circles of All Nations gathering, and it's been generously shared with the hope that millions of women will sing it, raising their own connection and awareness of the water they interact with daily, even in the shower or the sink. They believe that it is a powerful step to change, leading both to a spiritual as well as an environmental shift on our planet. So we invite you to stand as you're able, and there will be a short introduction to the song, and then it will be sung 4 times facing each of the 4 directions, starting with east. So if we can stand and face east, and after the 4 times, turn back to face the center. Women are invited to sing, and masculine identified folks are invited to stand and turn to face the directions, but to refrain from singing. Thanks.
Pretty good. The water can hear you. The water has memory.
Evie, Katie, Wappa, Lala, and Diane. And Diane. Whether we learn, water is the lifeblood of our own body.
Like a keeper of the water.
That we're in, that great grandchildren would stand up to this truth of what life is about, and to live it in such an honorable way the way ancestors came to this earth. Each day when the sun rises, no matter how bad the day before might have been, there's a new chance for your hopes and dreams. And I say, Chimiwet, thank you for singing the water song.
Maybe wawa and kayan aki miskwi maybe wawa hey ya hey ya hey ya hey hey ya hey ya hey ya ho.
Water. You might not see it, but this is probably the strangest thing in the universe. Here's why. Every molecule of water on the earth, and inside you or any other living thing, has existed for billions of years. After it came to Earth, that water has been cycling through rocks, air, animals, plants, and back again. Each molecule has been on an incredible voyage before coming to you. At some point, the water inside you would have been inside dinosaurs, bacteria, the ocean, storm clouds, the polar ice caps, and much more. All of the water on Earth is alien. They might be a familiar part of our world, but our oceans formed hundreds of millions of years after our planet took shape. The water arrived on asteroids and comets from space, objects from the edge of our solar system. They were leftovers of the vast clouds of dust and rocks that didn't quite make it into planets. This is the origin of all the water you can see on the Earth. Water doesn't follow normal rules of chemistry. For a start, it shouldn't really be a liquid on our planet. A water molecule is made from two very light atoms, hydrogen and oxygen. And at the temperatures and pressures on the surface of the Earth, rules of chemistry say that water should be a gas. And unlike any other chemical, when water freezes, it expands. So ice floats on water. Now you see this every day, but take a moment to think about how weird that is. Over time, this odd behavior has been very useful. By insulating the water underneath, floating ice has enabled complex life to survive and evolve on our planet, despite the many ice ages that have frozen the Earth's surface. And the strangeness just goes on and on. Did you know hot water freezes faster than cold? Yes, really. No one knows why. Water molecules can float upwards against the force of gravity. That's because they love to stick to each other. They're so good at it that they can actually pull each other up through tiny channels, such as the tiny blood vessels in your body. That's how oxygen and nutrients reach the edges of your brain. The same process, called capillary action, allows plants to move water from deep below the ground to nourish the leaves and branches that grow in the sunshine. Our solar system is drowning in water. Once upon a time, we thought that we were alone on Earth with so much water, but in fact, it's the second most common molecule in the universe. We now know there's water on the Moon, on Mars, Pluto. In fact, there's H2O with almost every object in our solar system, and where there's water, there could be life. So pour yourself a glass of water now, and take a good look at this colourless, featureless, and tasteless material. It's actually remarkable. It breaks so many rules of chemistry that scientists struggle to understand it. But without its rebel behavior, none of us, nor our world, would exist. You're only here watching this video because water is so strange.
For our next song, we invite you to stand as you're willing and able and sing the earth, the air, the fire, the water. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, return, return. Aye, 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 the earth. The earth. Looks like that some might not have been transferring as well as hoped, but let us continue. Today we return to this community after our summer break. We return. Some return more rested. Some return just as exhausted as they were before the summer, or maybe even a little more so. Some have returned to this community year after year for decades, and for others, this might be their first time. Some return to see familiar faces, and some come hoping to make new connections. Some may return seeing this start of the new church year as a way to renew commitments to themselves, to this community, or to their spiritual well-being. Whatever your reasons for being here today, we welcome you into this space and hope you find what you're seeking and more. The water communion, I believe, is a lovely way to start the year. As we live here in Vancouver Island, we are aware of water in the ways that folks in other geographies might not be. It's easy to recognize the beauty, the sacredness of water when you live in a place like this. In the summer months, many of us are able to go swimming in or sit by the ocean or lakes, surrounded by incredible beauty, or even catch a glimpse of the ocean in the rear view mirror when driving around the island. This still catches me by surprise and takes my breath away quite regularly. I hope that you are able to have many of those moments this summer. Water also connects us to each other and the other beings in our world, even our planet, which is unique, not in having water as we just saw in the video earlier, but in having so much water. It's the water that sustains all life and shapes our world. In the water communion, the water we take for granted day to day, as it's so ubiquitous, is centered. We shift our focus to see the miracle and magic of this simple, clear liquid that shouldn't even be a liquid. We honor the sacred in it and in us and renew our desire to protect our waters. Today, many of you have brought water that's sacred to you or represents a special moment for this ritual today. If you haven't brought some and you'd like to participate, you can add water from our jug on the table. We invite each person who would like to come forward and add a splash of water in the bowl. You're invited to say a sentence or two about this water, where it's from, and why it's special to you. If you'd like to add water but prefer not to talk, you can pause for a moment and just put your hand in your heart as you pour the water in the bowl. If you'd like to add water but prefer not to come up to the bowl, raise your hand and Wendy will bring it to you. And if you're participating online, you can put a note in the chat to let Heather know that you would like to speak, or you can share a few words that Heather can read out for you. And when you're ready, you can line up at the mic. But before that, let us take a few moments to gather your water and to reflect on the meaning of the water in your life and what you want to share with us today. And then Wendy will begin by adding the water we saved from our water communion last year.
For those of you in the hall, the mic on the table is working.
So that was water that we saved from last year, which was also compiled of some of the water from the year before and the year before and so on. Not quite ancient, but it's figured out a lot. And it represents all of the sacred feelings and thoughts that we put into those other services that are still alive today. And at this point, if any of you, whenever any of you wishes to add yours, and give us a little word or two about why it's important, why that represents something important. Please do so then.
Ready to, everyone hear me? No. No, you need to pick up a mic for the people online.
Helen. Yeah. This is from Hutledge. It's from below Bear Park, which is, there's Hutledge Park, Bear Park, and Ruth Masters Land. And this is on the tap. We're really privileged to be able to have clean water. That was Louis, and most of you know that already, but please say your name. Hello, I'm Donna, and this is water. And it came from the kitchen tap of Artful the Gallery, which is a lovely little art gallery in Courtney, highly recommended. And after many decades, my husband Joe had an art show there this summer, and we went all the month of August, and a number of you made it there, which is great. And it was a wonderful process for us. It was just delightful for both of us. We spent lots of time there. And if you missed it and you're thinking, oh, darn, you can go on Artful the Gallery's Facebook page or website and relive some of the experience of the show. So my water will symbolize the creative process. The water I shared today is from the Comox Glacier, the Comox Glacier, the Pacific River, and other things that. And I share in great gratitude. I hope to keep all of our friends into life this summer.
Shows Fall River. Now we're over at a. And the way back. And I had respect that Fall River, I was. So wild. We met this. What happened? It was right here. Sept, but it's still a big bird. The whole bird is great. It's true.
I have 2 months of summer in, the addiction treatment center. I went to pick it up. His graduation day was the day the fires on Red Colony exploded. So we were trapped in Vernon, couldn't fly home. Ended up 3 days later driving. But, I had him from the, and he's now approaching 90 days sobriety, which is very,
Yeah.
I'm good. This wonderful water was such a relief for us during the sun and drought of the summer for my plants. And just for me, my favorite place is in our backyard, looking up at the sky, floating in the water.
And this is great. I'm Greg, and we have a 15-year-old student staying with us from Spain, and he's been here just over a week, and I love showing him, like, we snorkeled with the salmon in this river, and we went snorkeling in the ocean and went kayaking, seeing the bioluminescence of Comox marina. It's all water. Wonderful. He said, "That's day of his life."
You just got here.
Hello, everyone. This water is from the estuary. And then you check that. And during the summer, I was quite shocked to have here by forest fires. And made me appreciate how much we rely on water to deal with crazy. And this is, people survive.
I've been friends with him, and some of you know. And I was in here, and I was, water, camping. Talk about this ceremony, and I've never participated. And then this year, I'm staying home because my husband's really meeting me right there, so no camping at all for me, so I had to be curious about my very own neighborhood. And my very own yard, and finding more flowers, and seeing where I am, and curious where I'm planted. So I chose river from this little stream that goes right by here, that's the Port Augusta stream, which very possibly was the first water supply for this part of Comox. It may have been the water from the original hospital. I don't know, I'm gonna find out. So this water I'm putting in for curiosity. See where you're planted, but be curious there, and that's what I'm intending to do.
Hi, I'm Annika. And this water comes from Egg Lake on Porter's Island, where we lived for over 30 years. And we lived right on the lake, and we got our water, drinking water from the lake. And it served us well for that length of time. We swam in it in the summer, and for the first 10 years, I guess, most winters we skated on it when it became ice. I think we used to skate across the school, across the lake school. And we've had many happy hours on the water and in the water and drinking the water. And it gives me very good memories to still have that water where we lived for many years. Many fun memories.
I do remind everyone using the mic on the table, please point the black dot towards your mouth. Thank you.
I don't know whether I should put this in there, if I'm drunk from it, so. It's okay, I think it boiled up.
Well, before I did it.
I don't.
This other one, drink, it's called Beaver.
Wow.
Beaver started. Lots of beaver one. Anyway, this water comes out of the top in massive. However, it also has a few grains of sand from the mud of the Yaku River. The significance of which is across the way was where Grant Hadlin chopped down the golden spruce in January of 1997. And so my trip to Hawaii was I wasn't expecting this. And I've been fascinated by that story ever since I first read it. It's just fascinating the way John Galen has explored every angle of that story in depth. So anyway, at this, it's I was aiming for actual water from the river, but I fell and got mud everywhere. Just a little bit of mud that came from that.
Oh, yeah, that's, you don't drink out of that now.
What I wanted to say and why this is significant to me is, although Grant Hadley was definitely off the deep end, I do have a huge sympathy for the message he was trying to get across. As most people would. So strong messages around, proper forestry practices and planet and how we're destroying it. And this water is from our backyard pond. And last year we didn't have any fish in it. This year we didn't have fish, and it just makes it so much more interesting. When every year you always have the fish on top, or there's a feeder barn, oh, fish in the barn. This makes the pond so much more alive, so much more interesting.
For this little ceremony, I thought of there's a way of a little container that my wife has. Some of you, if you have any contact background, you know, this little container for holy water, figurine of Mary and part of it.
Huh.
And just so you know, the holy water was usually blessed by a priest, and you use it obviously going in and out of the church, or you can use it going in and out of your house. But anyway, my wife left the Catholic Church years ago, but she continued to follow and be inspired by Mary as a source of in similar energy and represented by the water. And so I thought I'd just bring this today and add this.
Very welcoming. I've also started gardening this summer, and this water represents the water I've been nourishing my plants with, and hopefully they survive and gardening again.
My name is Aiden, and this came from the canning kettle. We were putting up, tomatoes up. So this represents not just the water that goes into growing the food, but the water that goes into using it and preserving it.
I'm Barbara. And this gray water is indeed gray water. A new relationship to water because of how it's being used and because we didn't get our precious water flowing from the sky. I decided that I would try and reduce the water that I use. How do I do that? And what I decided was water that I wash my hands in the kitchen sink can go into a kettle or a bucket. And water that I rinse vegetables in can go into a kettle or a bucket. And then that bucket sits next to the toilet. And then it goes into the toilet and we don't have to have that much more to put the toilet. So it's just an attempt to embrace change about my awareness. It's the water. Definitely. Not toilet water, just safe water.
Seen you before, but this water is rich. Instead of in the dirt, just use it out. The Pollard Creek, path along which is my favorite. Pollard Creek.
Part. And the Creekside Commons cohousing where I live with Sarah and Aiden and Louis and four other people. We have a series of ponds, they're really wetlands. And they're, in order to protect the water that flows into the salmon streams of Piercy and Millard Creek. And this time of year, the only water running into Trip 9 of Piercy Creek is water from our sediment pond. And this is a message to us of how valuable the water is that we have left, not only for ourselves, but I'm thinking particularly of the cold salmon. And it's partly because of the damage that we've been doing to it.
Hello, I'm Heather, and I am thankful for Christy online. And I'm going to read from my screen what she said about that. My water is from the tap, which comes from all sorts of sources. I like the thought of water coming from many sources, as I love the thought of all of us coming from different backgrounds, and we love each other.
Wendy. This water represents water from a lake in Quebec, where Mike and I spent some time this summer. And it's a lake that my family has had houses around for 120 years or something. It really gave me a strong connection, reminded me of that strong family connection and the way that the water and the land can feed one's soul and connect with. Does anybody else who would like to? Thank you, that was beautiful.
So thank you, everybody, for sharing your stories about your connection to water. Part of recognizing water as sacred and the inherent worth of all people is our collective responsibility to protect our waters and to make sure all people have access to what they need. Through water, we can recognize our interconnectedness and our entwined nature with the world. As we know, many communities in Canada, in BC, especially Indigenous communities, still don't have access to safe drinking water. And many bodies of water have been polluted in many ways. Water gives us an opportunity to connect with and support Indigenous water protectors, such as the water walkers, in the sacred work that they're doing. We started here today with an empty bowl, and we began recognizing the collective history of this community by adding the water collected last year. Then we added a little of our own stories and journeys as our bowl filled drop by drop. Our journeys are not the same. We have our own paths to follow, and yet we are committed to support each other in our spiritual growth. We join our water together in this communion service, to represent our shared commitment to the well-being of one another, this community, our world, and to the water that sustains us all. May it be so. Now feel free to rise and embody your spirit as we sing together, Earth, My Body. The lyrics will be on the screen.
Here we go. Earth, my body, water, my blood. Our breath and fire, our spirit, earth, my body, water, my blood. And our breath and fire, our spirit, earth, our body, water, our blood. Air, our breath and fire, spirit, earth, our body, water, our blood. Air, our breath and fire, spirit.
There will be a basket going around. Yes, for your financial contributions to the well-being of this congregation and any unidentified contributions will be going to our collective transforming our world, which I believe is the caravan. Yeah, 6 months. The caravan. And I know that many people give on a regular basis through e-transfers or text to the treasurer. So if it looks like nobody's paying money, which they are, but sometimes because, you know, I gave it the office, remember that one?
I left a note that I put in $5 for every zucchini taken.
Wow.
A few zucchinis left, but I'll just go anticipate that somebody wants that zucchini.
There's two left, one is yellow and one's blue.
Well, somebody.
Norma's putting in $5 for every zucchini that I get taken. Also, while you're thinking about sharing your financial resources, there's also, of course, sharing your resources of time and energy. And there are always ample opportunities to volunteer.
How many people right here are volunteering for CVUF right now, hands? Yeah. Yeah.
And people have volunteered too. Everybody who did not raise their hand have volunteered.
Pretty much, yeah.
And when is your first day here?
First day, we're not gonna do that to you first day.
And if anybody would like to volunteer and they're not sure how or where, they're welcome to come and talk to me anytime. So for our closing words today, we have May You Never Thirst by Erica Barron. May your body and your spirit always have what they need. When you're in need of refreshment or new life, may the waters be available to you. May you never know thirst unto death in your body or your soul. May you never thirst. And may your body and your spirit always thirst enough to stay alive. May you know the dissatisfaction with things as they are that leads us to work for justice. May you know the thirst for new knowledge that leads us on a quest for truth. And may you know the desire for deeper connection that creates new and stronger relationships. May you know the spiritual thirst that keeps your soul searching and gives the sweetness of discovery to faithful followers of spiritual paths of all kinds. May you never thirst too deeply, but may your thirst never be entirely quenched.
Yeah. Donna's coming. If you're able, there's a
Please.
potluck day. Potluck. And if you didn't bring anything, stay anyway.
Okay.
There's more than enough, please, yes.
May I suggest that you take?
How are you? Good to see everybody. Yes.
We've got to form the top, right?
No, we're gonna save the slot. Right. Say hi to our folks on screen.
Thank you, Heather.
See you. Thank you, Aaron, for everything.
I'm muted. Thanks.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome. There you go. We're off the screen. Yeah, you talk to everybody. You come up to the camera. Back up on here. Yeah, come on, say hi. I just shut down the one computer that was looking at my belly. I just shut down the computer that was looking at my belly. Yeah. Yeah, faces is that. On it. Bellies are important. They are. All right.
Okay. You get going and get to your potluck.
Oh, yeah, I gotta take all the stuff down and away in all the right places and so on. And good to see you. Take care.
Okay, love you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.